If billionaires weren't hoarding all the wealth, there would be more to go around. So when you get upset that your amenities are being challenged or your job is being taken, don't hate on people who risk their lives to arrive where you live. But the problem is with the system that keeps everyone divided and everyone without while they have everything. And sometimes the way that light works is that it has to reveal the darkness before it can bless us with the goodness. Saludos and welcome to the Rematriating Boriken podcast, where we discuss the journey to the essence of these islands, this archipelago and her surrounding waters, the restoration of our essence before conquest and continued colonialism, the reclamation of our collective healing and liberation. I am Yasmin Hernandez, creator of Cucubanacion, artist, writer, activist, born and raised in Brooklyn, Rematriating Boriken. My thoughts are with everyone who is being affected by all the changes coming in, which are not necessarily changes coming in. They're more coming to light of plans that have long been underway. And yet that coming to light is manifesting in this shocking way that has left people confused, distracted. We have folks whose lives have changed overnight. We have folks who have had to consider whether the homes that they have lived in for years, and whether that be apartments, houses, communities, neighborhoods, states, country, are safe for them to remain in, whether that be throughout the U.S. or here in Puerto Rico, where some of our Dominican brothers and sisters were rounded up yesterday and taken. And so in this coming to light that is happening with the way these systems work and the plans that they have in effect, it becomes more and more important, though more and more difficult, to keep the focus on our own inner and collective light, our own purpose, our own mission, our own joy, our own vision for what we see happening in our lives, for what we know we deserve, for what our dreams are that we still have to carry out, that nothing ever sway us from the steps necessary to achieving those things on our own journeys, because that's how all this works. Massive distraction. It aims at displacing. There's been a long silencing and invisibilizing and a conditioning to believe that this is okay and that things will be okay. A conditioning of separation. If I got to hear one more Puerto Rican person talking to me about immigrants, this has been a long time conversation. If I got to hear another Puerto Rican talking to me about morenos, right? The myth is in the separation. The myth is subscribing to a white supremacist lie that aims to put us in hierarchy according to color, hierarchy according to proximity to the colonizer, hierarchy according to how we worship. And if y'all have subscribed to that lie for a long time, then I think it's very necessary to see what is happening and ask, is this what you were meaning? When you complained about immigrants receiving certain amenities, did you intend for federal agents to roll up in their schools and in hospitals and take their children and their families? Did you intend for them to be handcuffed and put on military planes like prisoners of war and deported to their own countries? And what benefit does that leave you? And what paper do you think saves you from falling into the same fate. The person enacting all this, his own mother was an immigrant. They're not rounding up immigrants from Europe. They're rounding up immigrants of color. This is a conversation about light. We all think that light is shiny and bright and beautiful. But light comes with its shadows, and that was part of the conversation that we've had and been having, and that we need to ask ourselves if we're ready for light. There's certain things that we ask for, and we need to ensure that we're ready to receive that thing we're asking for. Because we may not be ready for the truths that are coming to light. We may not be ready. But we need to be sure that that thing we speak and that harm we wish, o eso que le queremos quitar a otra persona, eso que decimos, eso que le maldecimos al otro, viene con una responsabilidad energética de que si algo malo le pasa a esa persona, a nosotros también nos toca. Is this whole energetic responsibility. When you look at someone and wish something negative upon them because you think they're taking away from you, and that is another myth of colonialism and imperialism, that everything needs to be grabbed and taken when there is abundance in this earth for everyone to live comfortably. Pero si 1% de los gatos de este planeta se van a quedar con toda la riqueza, obviamente va a haber hambre. Obviamente va a haber pobreza. If billionaires weren't hoarding all the wealth, there would be more to go around. So when you get upset that your amenities are being challenged or your job is being taken, don't hate on people who risk their lives to arrive where you live. Hate on the system. And I don't even like to use the word hate. But the problem is with the system that keeps everyone divided and everyone without while they have everything. And sometimes the way that light works is that it has to reveal the darkness before it can bless us with the goodness. So the truth is that though I speak to individuals that have made inappropriate comments in my presence around immigrants and around African Americans, for however much that exists, I am so in love with the people of this archipelago that are rallying in support and coming to the defense of our Dominican brothers and sisters, acknowledging the truth that we are all Antillean, somos todo Antillano. When I and my family go to the beach, we swim in those same waters as the eastern coast of the Dominican Republic. Every beach I go to is on the Mona Passage. Here in El Oeste, I speak from the perspective of El Oeste, which is also the shared perspective of the archipelago. Ramón Emeterio Betances, considered el padre de la patria, had Dominican heritage. It is why he designed our first flag, la bandera de Lares, after the Dominican flag. It is why you have the white cross or the red and blue rectangles on the Lares flag, like the Dominican flag, designed in solidarity with the Dominican flag, just like our actual Puerto Rican flag today, designed in the 1890s, was designed in solidarity with the Cuban liberation struggle. We have been conditioned by colonialism to want to be more like the colonizer. It is what got some of us talking trash when we speak negatively about our brothers and sisters and in between and beyond. But we must decolonize from the myths, from the colonial conditioning that has us thinking that some US papers in our pocket make us better, make us more legit than any other human on this planet, when every single person on that soil unless they can claim indigenous bloodlines to those lands, are immigrants or the children or grandchildren of immigrants. And for anyone who has ever made a comment to me directly about immigrants, I remind you that my children's family are from Colombia and arrived in New York City as immigrants. And I don't think that the military invasion of Puerto Rico is a source of pride that would have me distinguishing myself from anyone else. That because we were militarily invaded, that we deserve more than anyone coming from anywhere else. I'm recognizing that moving past this imagery, moving past knowing what's going on, requires a lot of our energy. And so light for me today is allowing that slow, gentle pace, allowing myself to move just as damn slow as is needed at the moment so that I can harness my energy a little better. I'm not stopping, but I'm moving deliberately. Today I stopped for a couple of things here in my space, and then I stopped again and made like this really good salad and said, yo, we gotta eat well. We gotta protect ourselves. We gotta love up on our bodies. We gotta get the nutrients we need. We gotta get the rest we need because every day things are shifting dramatically. And right now, the way that light is coming is that we don't even have all the answers of what's going to happen right now. But light is just recognizing that we each play such a crucial, necessary part to the whole, and that it is so necessary to move through the day doing what is uniquely, authentically our own work. And by work, I mean your contribution, your medicine that you come to this earth to bring. Move slowly if you need to, deliberately if you need to, but not get caught up and sidetracked and distracted. Not get caught in a reactive, responsive loop to everything they do, because the point is to pull us away from what we are here to do, what we have come to do, what our communities need from us to transcend this mess. So light for me today is giving myself the kindness, the gentleness, the space that the systems don't give me and don't give my people. It is making sure my family is well, my people are well, it's making sure my work is well. My work, lo que nace de mi corazón y de mi mente y de mi alma, no lo que me dicta alguien. I hope you know the sanctity of your own inner light, and that you are finding the tools, the resources, the space to love up on it, to cultivate it, to expand it every day, even with all the storm blowing around us. I think of the storm. I think of that central eye, place of rest, place of light, place of clarity, place of calm, even with those eye walls blasting crazily 360 degrees around you. We must become the eye of the storm at this moment. If we want to access the light that exists beyond the sky, beyond the clouds, beyond the storm, that light is always there, always above us and always within us. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Rematriating Boriken podcast. This was supposed to be the intro to my conversation on light. The scheduled conversation is a follow-up to the Trinchera de Ideas rematriation conversation of this month, January 2025, where we discussed luz, light, but it became a long necessary interception on what is coming to light at in these times. And so for organization's sake, and to keep the focus, I've separated this episode out, made it its own. Episode 19, episode 20, I will come back with a planned conversation on light. Thank you so much for listening in and supporting. And stay strong during these times. Strong, focused, centering joy, centering your heart, centering wellness, centering self-care, care for each other, self-love, and love for one another. Podcast episodes usually are posted around the new and full moons with some surprises in between. If you like what you hear, you can subscribe, you can share with others. For more information, please visit Rematriating Boriken. That's Boriken, and that's rematriating with an M. Rematriatingboriken.com. Thanks so much for listening.